Well, welcome to another edition of the Referees Corner here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Basden, and joining me, I have four gentlemen who are youth referees and referees alike. We'll be discussing matches, topics of what got them involved, and also why certain things happen in the sport of football from their perspective on the field as officials. Many have played, many are still playing, but let's get to let them introduce themselves, and we'll start with you, young man.
My name is Ethan Todd. I go Delwood. I'm 13.
Okay, Ethan.
My name is Joshua Roberts. I go Work Academy. I'm 15.
Okay.
My name is Adam Beals. I'm a guest referee from Canada, and like these young gentlemen, I'm not going to give my age.
I was wondering about that. My name is Richard Lyons. For me, I'm not going to give my age either.
We'll start with the two guys that you guys said. Be yourselves. So, young man, how did you get started in officiating football? Because I know a lot of you have been in playing football, but how did you get involved in officiating football? Anyone?
Well, I like football, like statistics,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a hobby I do.
Okay.
And my dad's a referee.
Okay.
So
So let me ask you this question: because you like statistics,
Yeah.
are you one of those type of people that count fouls, count corners, count while the game's on?
No, I just count the goals.
Okay.
Mostly.
Okay. All right. What about you, young man?
So when I started playing around at the time it was under 12, and now it's under 15. So
Uh-huh.
I had wanted to be a youth referee,
Okay.
or just a referee in general,
Okay.
because that part of the sport for some reason just appealed to me, I guess.
Right.
And I only got started a few months ago, September.
Okay.
And we had a youth referee course in the school.
Oh, okay. Now, do you feel comfortable when you're out in the middle officiating a game? No pressure from the people on the outside? No? Just ignore them? Yeah?
More than 2 months.
Okay. All right. Well, you two gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about officiating, and especially youth games, because unlike the two gentlemen sitting across from you, one might look on the sideline and give them a break, as opposed to adults, they want to challenge a little bit more. How has your time been with the youth game?
You want to go? You want to
Go ahead.
go? All right. I mean, some of it depends on the teams.
Yeah.
Because even at a youth level, we have the rivalries that extend.
Yes.
It also depends on venue and crowd.
Right.
Do I think the kids probably get a little bit more of a break? Yeah, probably. And that's fair enough.
Right.
As an adult, you take that responsibility on a bit further. I don't think you get the leeway, no, and I'm sure the comments that we get are probably a little harsher when we do get it.
Definitely.
But, it's, for me, as long as it doesn't cross a line, I generally just ignore it. The only thing I have is, even if I have to, recruit one of these guys to be a linesman for me, and, somebody's in the crowd going after him, I get upset at that because they're working with me. They're also
Right.
doing the job, right?
Right.
Don't try to influence them by pressure.
Right,
That's
right.
not fair.
The intimidation side.
Yeah. I mean, you mostly can say whatever you want about me. I've heard it.
And Mr. Beal from Canada, how is this in Bermuda working out?
It's been a wonderful experience so far. I'm not sure the boys would say that. There's probably some scuffle, but I don't. I absolutely enjoy the intensity of the game here. I enjoy the football IQ of the young players, and I enjoy the skill level. It's my friends at home, if they see this, won't appreciate this, but I think there's a higher level of play here. There's more commitment to playing the game properly here, and it's been a very enjoyable experience so far.
Oh, good, good. I saw Mr. Roberts laughing. Let me ask Mr. Roberts. I take it Mr. Beal has been in charge of one of your games? And now, let me ask you this question because this will be very intriguing. Because you now know a little more about the game officiating wise, do you tend to check back with the other official when you're playing?
So most of my games this season have been for my school,
Hmm.
and I don't like talking to referees the way I do, but when I see a call that I don't feel is right, like someone pushing someone from behind and not calling it,
Right.
I don't like that at all.
So let me ask you this question. What is it when you don't make that call and someone's barking at you? Is that, do you feel, you,
Usually it's adults who are the ones who would be yelling at me, not like 6-year-olds. So
but it's generally, it's something that I think it's a learned behavior by many, if you would agree. Kids see and hear adults do something and they think, oh, that's the norm, so I can do it. The minute I get to a game, I can shout at the referee, I can shout at the players, and I think that's where we need, and if we have more youngsters getting involved in the sport from an official side, I think it would knock some of that out because they'll be telling their friends, hey, listen, I can only call what I see. So when you start saying, I see a blatant call, doesn't necessarily mean he saw it, I saw it, or he saw it because of the position you're in. You know what I mean? Yeah. And remember, you're going to find yourself in that position at some point in time. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
You're going
It's
to
gonna happen
find.
probably at least once a game,
Yeah.
realistically.
Yeah.
Because you cannot be in the perfect position. And I know we were talking about this the other day, was the one thing I hate is you get in a decent position. Because you don't want to be right in the middle of the play.
Right.
And then someone crosses in front of you.
Yes.
And then something happens right here. You know something happened,
Yes.
but because you didn't see it
Mhm.
for that split second, that's the issue.
Right.
But I'm also going to say this. I mean, I know the way I referee is this. I tell you before the game, I do not argue calls with you.
Right.
So if you wish to go down that route,
You lay it low.
as a response. And I stick to it because my basic thing is I coach,
Right.
ref, I've done a lot of different things in it. And there's a line that you don't cross, whether you're 11, 12 years old
Mhm.
or 45.
Right.
And I just don't accept it. And I think if you are consistent with it, I
Yes.
think that matters. So I do agree it's a learned behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but I also think they figure out very quickly, one, if you're fair,
Right.
and you're consistent, that they catch on very quickly.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's it.
What about parents? Do you guys have problems with parents on the sidelines?
I've had some surprises by the intensity of some of the parents on the sidelines at the youth levels already, for sure, but I think that just goes back to the love of the game and the emotion that it brings out in people. I think players and referees and spectators, but I do think that it's no different in Canada this year. Parents and spectators definitely need to understand the game perhaps a little bit better, understand the laws of the game a little bit better.
Right.
And if they don't understand the laws, then they should probably subdue themselves a little bit more until they do understand the laws of the game. And that also includes players.
Right. We hear that a lot. Let me ask you, in your games that you've been officiating, have you had any problems with coaches or parents? No. Yeah.
Like a little bit, like to see like if it's like a foul or not. Like that's
Yeah. How do you think, as a young man that plays the game or is very into the game, how do you think it should be addressed?
Sorry, because it's not.
Yeah. Your opinion.
Yeah.
Your opinion.
Because I'm the one that saw like the foul.
Right. So how do you know what I'm saying is how do you think we can address the outbursts of people on the sidelines to try and help them to, I guess, understand the game a little better, in your opinion? Because when you're young, you can make a suggestion, and not many people will pay attention to it. But if enough young people start to say the same thing over and over, I think people will start paying attention. So, from your perspective, what would you think, or how do you think it should be handled to address coaches making, arguing with referees or just challenging referees? You're not sure? Do you have an idea, Mr. Roberts?
Not completely, because up to an extent, a coach and the crowd can talk to the referee as much as they want. They might not like a call,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's their children,
Mhm.
their children's friends on the
Yeah.
field. But there's an extent to, as Mr. Ryan said, to when you're playing on the line you can cross. Because constantly trying to referee the game yourself, or
Mhm.
trying to yell at the referee enough to persuade them to be more fair to be one-sided to your team
Mm-hmm.
is too far.
Right. Well, let me ask you, as young men that are in the game, how do you prepare for a match when you have to officiate?
So
Because it's a lot different.
usually when I referee, I allow the team, not the team, but their coaches to set up the field, because the only field that I really know how it's supposed to be laid out is an under 11s field.
Okay.
So when it's under 9s, I don't know whether they're supposed to be using the 6 foot and the Kappa goals, the wide
Right.
Kappa goals,
Mhm.
or the really small goals for the little kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I just let them pick the field.
What was the two girls at the end?
Yep.
Okay.
So then I'll blow my whistle, allow them to get ready to take their cones off the field after they warm up. Let them have a team talk. Then I'll blow the whistle again, check shin guards, and let the game go on.
Yeah, but I was asking you, how do you prepare yourself to get ready for a game? That's what you do when you're at the field. So what I'll do is I'll ask these gentlemen, and then I'll come back to you guys so you can think about it. Yeah. Well, Mr. Lyons,
Sure.
when you're preparing for a match, what do you do to make sure that you're ready for whatever may come your way?
Get mentally ready.
Mm-hmm.
Try to relax, make sure that I'm alert, eat something, make sure you have a good breakfast, whatever it is, get some nice sleep. Try and get there reasonably early so I can take a look and get comfortable. It's a mental thing.
Mhm.
Physically is easy to do. But if you say I had a bad day at work and you're taking angst into the game with you, it's not a good thing, I don't think. Mentally you have to be clear-headed and ready to go. Understand the nature of the teams that you're having.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if it's a rivalry that extends all the way down to kids, you know what it's going to be,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I think you take that into account as well. But the biggest thing is, you take a moment and you settle yourself mentally. You have a routine and you stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow that routine, you feel comfortable as well. Maybe it's just because I'm older, but when you get out of that routine, you don't feel as
Right.
comfortable, right?
Yes.
Like you was talking about before the game, I have a routine of who I speak to, what I say, it's the same message every week,
Mm-hmm.
and then you stick to it. And I'm one for get started on time. If you don't want to be ready, if you have 7 men on the field and a goal, guess what, mate? That whistle's good, and if they score a goal on you, that's up to you.
That's on you.
Yeah.
Time is time.
Yeah, but you're consistent, right? Make sure you're mentally ready, same routine, get yourself organized, and you can relax mentally.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing for me, is to do that.
Right. The one thing I would say you have over the three other gentlemen and myself is that you know none of the teams.
Right.
So they're getting to know who you are as games go on.
Right.
How do you prepare yourself for a game? And it could be a rivalry, but you don't even know it's a rivalry.
It doesn't take long to figure out as we're all football fans.
Yes.
Outside of the pitch, we all talk about football.
Right.
It becomes very apparent very quickly where the real rivalries are.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, I agree with what Richard. I agree very much with what Richard said about both the mental preparation and the physical preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Because in theory, it doesn't really matter who is the opponents in that match. The referee should still be approaching the match the same way. The laws are still the same regardless of the rivalries. However, there is a higher emotional pitch to the game when the rivalries are there. It's unfortunate, as you say, that I don't know those, so there's not much to say about it. Being new to the area, I feel I have to establish myself a little bit more forcefully, perhaps is the right word. And as you guys have attested in the games I've refereed, I am pretty vocal on the field. I just want everybody to know that there are no preconceived notions about who the teams are.
Right.
I'm here because of the laws of the game.
Right.
And the laws of the game are going to be, and I had an interesting comment in a school game yesterday that that's not how we play the game in Bermuda. And I told the young player that, hey man, no matter where we are, we play by the laws of the game.
Right.
But back to your original question, physical preparation is very important. Eating properly the day of the game as best you can. Taking time to figure out who the opponents are and learning the background about them. And then mentally being prepared with your routine and hopefully all the pieces fall into place before kickoff. And that allows it to flow that much easier at the whistle.
What's this here? Can I say, what school you in? So you were playing, did you play Soltis on Friday?
Yeah, that's the game.
Okay. At Soltis, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Hey,
right.
now you guys gotta let me on the secret here.
I don't know. I happened to be at the pool and I just saw the game going on. I saw you officiating, so that's why I said it. Because he said most of his games been at his school, so yeah. So back to you guys now. You heard these two gentlemen explain preparation for a game. So how do you prepare?
Um, Go to my sleep and like a good breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
and then like get myself motivated.
Okay.
Um,
Do you support any team in general, or do you play for anybody?
I don't, but my brother plays for my village. I
Okay.
don't really like it's not one side.
Okay.
It's even.
Okay. All right.
So I support my village, but on the pitch as a referee, I don't support.
Okay. All right. Well said. Smart man.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Roberts?
Um,
Does your routine change from if you were playing as opposed to if you were officiating?
First,
Yeah.
I have to put my, because I played, so far this season, I've played around 24 games of football,
Mm-hmm.
and I played for 3 different teams.
Okay.
The under 16s for Work Academy, the over 16 for Work Academy, and the Work Archers team
Okay.
for under 15s.
Okay.
And I know that when I play for Work Archers, that defense is going to be stronger than when I play for Work Academy.
Okay.
So I have to put myself in the mindset, think, oh, in one game I'm going to have to do more saves.
Okay.
Another game I'm going to have to take more one-on-ones. And in another game I'm just going to be standing there waiting for that shot.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you gave away your secret, you're a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So explain to me. You've explained 3 ways of preparing for a match that you're playing. So what about when you're officiating?
I'm officially,
Yeah.
I put myself into a unbiased mindset, I guess.
Okay.
Most of the matches I've played, I've had to referee, have either been for Work Academy's youth teams or Somerset's youth teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I played for both of those teams.
Right.
At one point. So I have to put myself in the mindset of no matter who's playing, I'm just going to referee the game as it should be.
Okay. Is that some good advice? Just try to officiate what you see as opposed to trying to what would I say, show favoritism or non-bias to another team?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Preconceived notions are a bad thing.
Right. I know years going by and probably even today, people will say, oh, the referee is trying to make up for a call that they missed of sorts. Is that a true assertion of what one sees sometimes, or is it just, okay, you're seeing it that way because that's the way you feel right now, that he's making a call to make up for a call instead of he's called it because that's the foul he's seeing?
I can understand the logic behind it, but perception is reality.
Right.
In general, whatever our conditions are, our mindset, that's what we tend to believe,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what the evidence is. Right? But from a personal perspective, I mean, if, I've had a coach say, hey, that wasn't this or that, and I said, look, if that's correct, right, I was wrong, my apologies.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot go back and fix it.
Right.
I'm not going to give you something that will make you feel better about it.
Yes. Yes.
The only thing I will really do, honestly, is I will not particularly worry about it until after it's done.
Mm.
Because if you begin to worry about the call you didn't make there, you're not paying attention to what you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my thing is, it's just my personality. I am there to ensure that the game runs correctly.
Okay.
And I'm not going to favor him or him. I don't care. I've had to referee my own kids' games, and they can both assure you that they don't actually get any calls. And they're very upset with me about that, and I try to avoid that at all costs.
That's a very interesting car ride home.
Not really. It's a very short car. Yeah, it's, but for me personally, that's my mindset about it. I realize, and I'm telling them, look, I will make mistakes. I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to give a makeup call and make you feel that.
Right.
Because you know, as old Bermuda saying, two wrongs don't make a right.
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, I'm not going to try and do that. I'm going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's inconceivable that you won't.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept it and move on.
Yeah.
I have a slightly different take on that, if I may.
Sure.
It's that you do realize in moments that you do make mistakes in the game. And it's not that you're looking for to make another mistake to offset that. But sometimes you hope for a situation that presents itself that will, you realize your mistake will have an impact on that game. Sometimes it has a direct impact on that game. So you hope that something else happens in that game that allows you to make the call that's the correct call.
Right.
Right. That might help undo your mistake earlier.
Right.
And I don't know if that sounds is the proper way to explain that, but again, the bottom line is that you do make mistakes. And when your mistake is going to have a direct impact on the result of that game, there's a brief moment there where I hope something comes up that allows me to kind of null and void that last mistake.
Right.
But clearly, it's not a matter of finding that mistake, it's just hoping that something comes up.
Right.
And that's happened enough on both sides of that. You go home thinking, I wish something happened, and I'll offset that. And sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't.
It'll eat me for days. I know if I figure out later on that I have made a mistake.
Right.
And it bothers you for a couple of days. Well, me personally, anyway. Because you don't want to be the person that negatively affects the outcome.
Right.
That also goes to your preparation for the next game as well, because you recognize what mistakes you make over your mistakes and try to prepare to not make that same mistake again.
Right. Well, gentlemen, I do want to thank you for your time. I do have more other referees who will be joining us soon, but I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. There's a lot of football to be played before that time actually comes around. But I want to encourage you guys to continue doing what you're doing. Bermuda is always in need of officials, no matter what sport it is, and it's you four that have chosen the sport of football. And we look forward to you guys doing many more games and actually doing the game that you love.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Cheers,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
And I'll watch those pushes in the back.
And we'll be back with more Referees Corner here on IStats.com in just a moment.
What's everybody else?
And welcome back to Referees Corner here on IslandStats.com in the Bermuda Football Association Clyde Bass Center of Excellence boardroom. We now are joined by what I would consider a veteran referee, Wendy Woodley. Wendy,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You've been around for quite some time officiating games in Bermuda. What have you seen changed over the years from your perspective?
The level of football has changed drastically.
Mm-hmm.
The respect for the game has deteriorated.
Okay.
And basically the lack of discipline.
Okay. How do you think, or how do you feel, and I'm asking you on a personal opinion, how do you think we should address some of the issues when you're talking about the discipline and the respect part is deteriorated?
I think our referees should more or less be consistent across the board
Mm-hmm.
and be on the same page
Okay.
and basically just stick together
Mm-hmm.
in what we believe in.
I hear you and I agree with you to a point where even at the professional level, one referee would call something and another would kind of wave play on because that's in their nature. Some like physical, and some doesn't. In order not to let it go, but when you speak in terms of being together, you see things one way, and someone else might see things another in regards to a game. But yeah, when you say consistency, the basic things have to be consistent.
Yes.
Have to be consistent.
Yes. And we basically have to be on the same page.
Yeah, yeah.
So if one calls something,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of our training sessions we do talk about our games that happen on the weekends and we do discuss situations.
Right.
And I think if we all are on the same page, we can make it happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And we could get more people to come out
Right.
and watch a good game.
Yeah. Now, I notice more and more of the officials when before game are talking more and more together, and even go out in the middle, have their talk together and so forth. Do you think that's something that's pulling you guys together for that game, that everybody's kind of, as you say, on the same page, understanding each other?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I think match talk before a game is very important. And then we get out there, of course, on the same page.
Right.
And most importantly, that we have eye contact.
Right. Right. Which is an important thing. Now, when we look back at years gone by, before this international play that Bermuda's been having of late, the game kind of was taking a downward spiral with a lot of players, a lot of top players not seeing a future of international play. Now that you've seen that there is plenty of international play out there, people are getting chances amongst chances, even on local soil. Do you think that the attitudes of players, coaches, and spectators will get better? Are you hopeful that they will get better?
I'm hoping. Because I think Bermuda players, they have a lot of talent, but the main thing that holds them back is the lack of discipline. And I think if coaches enforce the discipline in them, then they will become better players.
Where do you see yourself in maybe 2 years with officiating? Do you see yourself still involved, or you I only ask that because a lot of the people that have been around for a number of years are always talking about, I think it's time to let the youngsters take over. Do you see that?
I say that every year is my last year.
Right.
And then I find myself signing up again, and it's just that I just have a passion for the sport itself, and I enjoy refereeing. I mean, I haven't did many games in the middle this season, due to I haven't been able to make it to my training sessions as
Okay.
opposed to, and that's due to our commitment.
Okay.
But I'm hoping the second half of the season that the commitment to our commitments ease up, and
Right.
I'm going to make that effort to at least come up for that hour to train.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, the biggest thing is one recognizes why they're not getting certain positions, and understands it, and I guess that's always the plus.
Yeah.
And then, but you're still willing to put your hand up and say, you know what, I'll be a referee assistant
Yeah.
until I get my turn, kind of thing.
Well, I actually I don't mind being line. I mean, I've had a few games on the line, and
Yes.
I've enjoyed it. You know, I paid my cost.
Right.
I've enjoyed it. You know, and being in the middle, I enjoy that as well. But I'm just happy to be there to
Right.
assist or even to take charge in the middle.
Okay.
I'm just happy to be there.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you, and look forward to you being in the middle in the new year
Okay.
at some point in time.
For real?
Hopefully, it's not a game that I'm playing.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of retirement.
Yes.
When they play walking football. Yeah. But thank you very much. Now joining me is going to be the chairman of referees, the second vice president of Bermuda Football Association, Cranston Williams. Good afternoon, good evening, Mr. Williams. How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Good. Coming up, the referees will be having a few courses put on. Starting, I believe I saw the 10th of December, a youth referee course. Okay, so on the 10th, what does that course consist of?
10 to 15, that's a referee assessors course. John Nielsen, we have CONCACAF assessors who become the we have 9 potential assessors. One of the big things came out of the report from the last course.
Mhm.
So we need to have a program with assessors to give the referees feedback. Currently we have 4, but of the 4, 3 of them are still official preliminary games.
Okay.
So we need to try and get those events and then to assess properly. We have new referees coming aboard. They need to assess also. Then we have an assistant referees course from the 10th to 13th. We have Ron Warburn. He'll be coming back. And also working with the same referees that we into the bases. And then we will come back to the youth referee course on the 14th with Anthony Francis.
Okay. When you mention about the assessors course, is that for people not officiating, or do you have people that are officiating taking that course as well?
Right now, the people that are signed up are not official.
Okay.
That's the ideal scenario, because what we find is that if I have my group of referees, they're normally busy every Sunday, and one of them is not. So to avoid that, trying to get people outside that have officiated before.
Okay.
And kind of get sick and tired from referee.
Right.
So at present we have 9, potential of 10.
Okay.
And it's open to anyone who loves football. You have to be a player football before. We just need people to give positive feedback to the referees.
Right.
It's standard football.
Is this something that you guys went out and sought people, or did you have a period where people found out about it and signed up?
No, we had a meeting at the this room with previous people that were considered national referees or on the FIFA list before.
Okay.
And they expressed interest in coming back. They had to recruit and ask them. So now I said to them, here's the time. Gentlemen's coming. These are the days. What can you do? So they've all been coming.
I know you have match commissioners and so forth. What these people will just be there to assess the 3 officials in the match?
Yes.
Okay. And then what's the process after that? Because I'm really asking because if someone's watching this or listening to us, they may want to get involved but don't know what it entails. So can you elaborate a bit?
The assessors put to the basis, so the assessors they grade referees on the ARs and their performance. And then what happens is put into a database. Then we have documentation of each official. So with that plus the training plus the fitness test can also assist the referees in getting up or coming down. So
Okay.
yeah, just like I work in school, we get graded like performance appraisal.
Yes.
Something like that.
Okay. All right. Now you have an abundance of youth referees, and now you're having another youth referee course. This is for new people, or is this new people?
Because we've had quite a few requested, so this probably last one out for a while. What's happened is we have more and more, we have a girls league as well.
Mm-hmm.
So because I have the girls league, like the other league for the boys, we have adequate numbers. And we're trying to make sure it's not same people fishing like the week.
Right.
You gotta leave the burnout. And also we don't want to monopolize and give everybody a free ship.
Okay.
And we're finding that because of the day something you can make it, then the last minute is something not available. So we're just trying to give everybody a free ship.
How many people have looked to sign up already for this youth referee course? Okay.
Can be, but normally it starts off where might have 5 or 6 on the days 30 people show up.
Right.
Like
Okay.
the last one we had, I think there was 10 people that signed up.
Mm-hmm.
And we came with the date, joined the people.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right. What has made it so successful to get these numbers out? Is it the drive? Is it the challenge that you? Because I know you like to throw out challenges to individuals. If you're going to complain on the side, here's a whistle, here's a flag, here's a card.
I honestly can't say. I think it's just a matter of, well, everything, money doors open.
Right.
I'll just be frank.
Right.
And a lot of parents are seeing more children do. Some actually do it for community service.
Right.
But at the same time, if you have 10, 11, under 17, Saturday, $25, why not?
Right.
And get a lot of them. Some of them, I have a couple of 14, 15 years and 16 girls who are now transitioning to the first and go to the next.
Right. Right.
That's the hope that they will stay there.
Yes.
Because I think the issue before with the referees and God, there was such a big gap between premiership referees and the rest. People were not allowed, I mean, the recruitment process was done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, you have this big gap.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, you can have someone who said 35, 40, for 16, 17 years old.
Right. Right. Right.
So
What has the association done to ensure that? Because just last week I know there were 2 females running the line over at the rack, and I believe 2 females running the line in St. George. One. Right. But youngsters doing it. How are we protecting these youngsters when it comes to adult football? Because we know what they can face.
Normally, I normally put the youngsters with senior officials.
Mm-hmm.
And make it clear to the referees on the day that they let the team and the coach on top of any type of abuse, especially with the teammates,
Mm-hmm.
or just not have it. Game has to get amended, game has to get amended. That's the standard you have to take in 0 tolerance.
Right.
But ironically, I think I told you, the game at Derbyshire Rack was Cubans and Eagles.
Yes.
We had 2 young ladies, Coco Charles and Stacey Bear.
Mm.
Coco 16, Stacey teacher, and it was just something I've never seen in the league.
Right.
For the whole 90 minutes, I heard anybody shouting in their teammates. They had a lot to say to the person in the middle. Nobody agreed to that.
But watch this here.
So
Randy, you get that?
I hope
I'll come back to you, Randy. I'll come back to you.
I don't know. I really don't know.
I'll come back to you, Randy.
So, I don't know what to say. It was one of those days where you just stood there and shook your head like, wow.
So it can be done.
Yeah,
If it can be done, why not try to continue that trend?
Even I've had a lot of people who comment about the young ladies of T or Hamilton. There's young Smith and Kinley and Keenan Watson. So it's just everybody's been positive so far. I guess what I've heard a lot of coaches say that because they're young, they're working on music. I just tell them you're music, then just you might have issues already.
Right.
That's unfortunately stands you have to take.
Right. With especially the CONCACAF head person coming down, we've seen the level of people that come down to do these courses over the last 2 years. Are they really intrigued with what's going on in Bermuda?
Yeah, I would say they are. For whatever reason, I would do it as a case of that the BFA supported referee do something for the recent contact. I guess it has a lot to do with having this push from an executive, from the president, in particular, stating that he's personally infamous. It's not something that he wasn't happy with. I know we had 2 persons that potentially could make it next year. We had one who was waiting to see if we got that one this year. For me personally, I would like to have a female, but that's, I know, the process down the way. But yeah, I got a lot of emails and from people in different parts of CONCACAF asking me how do we do this, how do we do that. And I think it's just a matter of being able to talk to people and just saying, you know, you can do this, encouragement. Because even like I tell you, referees, one thing about me, because I tell everybody, any referee stops at me. So if my referee is bad, they able to feel I'm making the match. No matter what you say to me, my referee is right.
Right.
After we have a debrief, if I know that I did something wrong, I'm gonna let you know about it.
Right.
You know, I think it's like Randy said, the biggest thing for me is that the referees stay consistent. And I tell them, like I was told at a CONCACAF Congress I went to, even if you make a bad decision, you should be right there, so that when the player gets up and looks at you, can start the decision, they don't question it.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Right. Earlier this evening, we had a gentleman from Canada, Mr. Beals. Very interesting the fact that he's come down here to officiate. That's something that's new, rare, and how did that come about?
The Bills are very persuasive or assistant fellow, I should say. Was to do maybe when the World Cup, he sent an email, we looked on the BSA website, and then he contacted me, someone got my contact information, and we just started talking. At first, I really just thought it was a joke, and then after he came to the World Cup, then the Jags are trying to find him. He sent me an email, he came down this summer. We had a summer tournament game, when the Division Cup, he did help out. And he said he was coming back for the Bounty Summer, and that's how well. I said, another gentleman should be here on Thursday from USA coming down to assist as well.
Oh.
So people are seeing what we're doing and it was going to assist.
Okay. All right.
I think the other gentleman used to be here before.
Right.
I think it's just become harder and black.
Oh, okay.
So like, he said he does college games in the States.
Okay.
So he should be
All right.
easy.
Cool. All right. Well, again, it's the 10th to the 15th for the assessor course, 10th to the 13th referee, assistant referee course, and the 14th youth referee. Okay. All right. And if anybody wants to get involved, contact the Bermuda Football Association.
Yes, so I have your form outside, so we're on the gear, listen, the cards. Expect to see on the 10th to the 13th.
Listen, as I tell people this all the time. Someone has to do the job off the field, and my services have been volunteered to do that each and every time. So,
every Sunday,
but I support.
We have the expansion league coming up, tournament. We have Shield, we have the friendship, the Warriors things, and we have the.
Who's can cover them? If I officiate, who's can cover them?
We just need you for all that. That's it.
Again.
That's it. All that.
Again.
Other people could run their campaigns.
You know what they say? When you need something done, do it yourself. You know it's done. You know what? And I'll pretty much. No, I'm not making any guarantees. Not making any promises. I'm glad I'm not on camera right now. But yeah, but believe it or not, when I was a youngster, when the commercial league started, I did officiate. I've done a lot of games in St. George.
Come back.
What's that?
So you can come back.
Yeah, the rules have changed. Rules have changed. Not that young fella anymore. Well, I want to thank you both for joining me here on Referee's Corner. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week, Monday. Either Monday or Tuesday, to discuss more with refereeing here in Bermuda. Good night from the Referee Corner on IslandStats.com.